Good evening. It's Wednesday, November 27th, and it's the day before Thanksgiving, and it's not feeling a whole lot like Thanksgiving outside. Taking a look at your weather headlines, and actually tonight's forecast, we're looking at 28 degrees. This is going to be the headline for tonight, really. It's going to be freezing for tonight and possibly even tomorrow night, and that wind's going to stick with us as well. North wind at 5 miles an hour. It's going to feel like it's a little bit of coming off of a freezeberg tonight, or an iceberg rather. And there's no clouds in sight at all, just a couple of clouds passing through our eastern areas. Anything you see here on radar is actually possibly even a little bit of a fire down in southern Leon County, down towards the south. We're looking clear, but there is a freeze warning in effect for the entire area, freezing after 10 o'clock tonight, and that is going to continue all the way into the early morning hours after sunrise. So if you're heading out early tomorrow morning for Thanksgiving festivities, you're going to want to keep this in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it now to Braden Robinson with a look at your local weather.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. And today, definitely a different story than yesterday. Yesterday, pouring all day, and we are going to be looking at freezing temperatures over the next couple days. Right here, check out your high temperature today, 55. Didn't feel like 55 today, and that is because your high temperature came at 12:07 a.m. last night. So 55 degrees last night, 44 your low today, and we hit that basically 6, 7 o'clock, and we haven't really gotten that much warmer since then, sitting at 49 now, partly cloudy skies, a dew point at 30 degrees, definitely dry out there, and those winds still coming from the north-northwest at about 10 miles an hour, so we are looking at pretty breezy conditions. Again, with the radar, southern Leon County, maybe a couple fires, but it seems like the smoke is starting to dissipate there. Other than that, not much in the way of precipitation, and it is going to stay that way. Warnings right now, you can see Leon County right now under a freeze warning until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Basically, the rest of our area, Thomas County, inland Jefferson County, also down into coastal Wakulla County, those freeze warnings being 32 degrees or lower for 2 to 4 hours sustained. Current temperatures 49 in Tallahassee, cooler in Monticello, 53. 53 also in Thomasville, warmer along the coast, 50 out in St. Marks. You are seeing those warmer temperatures, 46 down in Apalachicola. Dew points looking dry, sitting lower to mid-30s. Dew point, a good indicator of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. When the actual temperature gets down to the dew point temperature, that's when dew is going to form. So you see a 30-degree dew point in Tallahassee, and that's also a good indicator of maybe our low temperature, 30 degrees or below for tonight. Those winds still gusting 8 miles an hour in Thomasville, 4 miles per hour out in Monticello, all coming from the northwest behind that cold front that moved through yesterday. We had kind of that southwesterly flow until that cold front moved through, but that northwesterly flow has shown. Wind gusts, not too bad today, a 16-mile gust in St. Marks, also out in Wilma. So wind gusts, you are seeing a little bit, and that is what we're talking about right now. Satellite and radar for the southeast not showing much. That cold front definitely has moved through our area, and we are looking pretty good. Tonight, 28 degrees, definitely some freezing temperatures, some clear skies, so it is going to be dry out there. You are going to need a jacket in the morning. Tomorrow looking at 55, a little warmer than it was today. Going to be a great Thanksgiving day for you. Definitely going to be a good time to have some turkey stuffing, maybe some mashed potatoes. And we are looking at that 7-day forecast. Happy Thanksgiving out on Thursday. 55 degrees on Thursday, warming up on Friday to 66, back into the 40s Sunday into Monday, getting back into the higher 60s for the rest of the week. We will pass it off to John, and he is going to give us a quick look about what's going on with the rest of the state.
Just about everyone in the last 12 hours or so has cleared out from west to east. Those clouds, just a few passing clouds down to the south near Fort Myers, and we'll take a look at those now. Actually, we won't near Cape Coral. Our webcam there isn't working quite yet. Clearwater, looking nice. Again, those low clouds are going to pass on through. 58 degrees in Clearwater. That's cool for the Clearwater area. And cooler temperatures are pushing from north to south. 46 here in Tallahassee, 45 in Jacksonville. Those will be both in the freezing degree or down below 30 degrees tonight. Warmer down towards the south. Even these are going to cool off into the 50s and 60s tonight. 73 right now in Miami. The dew point, this is the measure of the amount of moisture outside. 30, it is going to freeze tonight here in Tallahassee. That dew point is the measure of how cool it could actually be tonight as well. Right around the I-4 corridor in the 40s for the dew point. Not going to get down to freezing down in the central part of the state of Florida. These winds are brisk for just about everyone. 13 in Tampa, 9 in Miami, right around 10. These are going to come down a little bit during the overnight hours, which is going to allow us to cool off. As I said, those low clouds are starting to fall away across most of the state for tonight, and that's what's going to allow us to fall to below freezing across I-10, 28 in Tallahassee, 30 in Jacksonville, 41 in Orlando, the warm spot, 62 in Key West, 56 in Miami. For tomorrow's forecast, if you're heading down I-75 or I-95, it's going to be a fantastic visit to South Florida. 71 in clear skies in Fort Myers, 56 here, or 55 here in Tallahassee, 56 in Jacksonville, 67 in Tampa, and those clouds are going to be falling away for just about everyone. The only spot that's going to have maybe a cloud or two is going to be West Palm Beach tomorrow afternoon. We're going to go ahead and change it over to Braden again for another look at one more look at the national forecast.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. I am back again, and we are going to be seeing a lot of us over the day. Right now, you could still definitely spot this low pressure system up in the northeast, bringing some snow into New York, a little bit in Massachusetts, rain further up north from Maine, but definitely has moved out of our area, Florida, getting clear, even into South Florida now. We are looking very good. Water vapor imagery, really showing the story. Amount of moisture in the atmosphere, shown by all these greens in the west, moisture starting to build back into the west coast. But back home in Tallahassee, basically most of the southeast being engulfed by all of this dry air presented by this orange, darker colors, giving you all that dry air, and that is the consequence of that cold front that moved through. The dry air pattern is going to stay for the next couple days. 44 right now in Dallas, 28 in Kansas City, even colder up in Indianapolis, 24 right now, 46 in New Orleans, 73 down in Miami, 33 out in Atlanta. So temperatures kind of all over the place, but cool nonetheless for over the country. Again, dew point showing a story of just how dry it is. A 7-degree dew point in Minneapolis, meaning just so many dry, kind of arid conditions, not much moisture in the atmosphere. It's going to be beautiful for your Thanksgiving wherever you are, except maybe in the northeast there'll be a little bit of snow. But again, your southeast radar showing rain moving out of our area and kind of drying out after that cold front moves through. As we move up to the northeast, this is where you're going to see that snowstorm. So snow, a lot of mixed precipitation. Coming into New York, into Maine, you're going to see a lot more rain and just snow everywhere. Out in Ohio, you're looking at Virginia, West Virginia, seeing all of that snow, and that is going to continue until that low pressure system moves off. But again, out in the upper northwest, out in the mountains, Billings, Montana, Seattle, Washington, no precipitation to speak of. You guys are looking at some beautiful skies. And back down into the plains, out in Texas, Dallas, San Antonio, again, no precipitation to speak of. It is a great day to be outside out there. Just a little chilly, so make sure you're bringing that jacket. Airport delays out in the central and western United States, not seeing much. A 38-minute delay out in Washington, D.C. Remember, it is the day before Thanksgiving, so you are going to see a lot of travelers out there. Make sure you're careful on the roads. Definitely out in the northeast, you might see a little bit of snow and rain, so you want to be careful. Take it slow, and you'll see current snow cover pretty light, kind of over the north, but out near Denver, Colorado, a little heavier snow cover, getting a little deeper. Get those snowboards out because the season is definitely coming soon. Your Udonis Futurecast, you can see this cold front working its way out over the next couple hours. Tonight's forecast, 28 in Tallahassee, 24 out in Denver, 22 out in Billings, 13, the cold spot, out in Minneapolis. And then if we look at tomorrow's forecast, 40 in Kansas City, 55 in Dallas, warming up a little bit, 56 in San Antonio, 53 in New Orleans, 55 out in Tallahassee. So we'll go ahead and zoom out, or zoom in actually, to our region a little closer in the southeast. Bring it up, John.
Now, we saw all that snow across the northeast that Braden was just talking about, where they also got snow this morning. Up in northern Georgia, they actually had a little bit of snow in Atlanta, Georgia this morning, and they had sleet a couple days ago just north of Birmingham in Alabama. None of that tonight. That's all cleared off and pushing off towards the northeast, but it will get cold tonight. Tupelo will reach 33 degrees. The warm spot still in South Florida. 42 in Shreveport, 46 down there on Lake Pontchartrain and on Bourbon Street. It's going to be dry for the next couple of days across most of the United States. 21 is that dew point. This means these places in Alabama, Georgia, and over into Mississippi could get into the teens and 20s during the next 6 to 12 hours as we head closer to sunrise tomorrow morning. And this is part of that reason. This little bowl here is actually a push down towards the south of colder and also drier air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And this is also working down towards the surface, so this is providing us plenty of that push for that colder and drier air. In that freeze for most of North Florida, southeast Alabama and Georgia will freeze tonight, and that also includes parts of the northern parts of Georgia and Alabama, and there's no reason for a freeze watch or warning up there because they've already frozen multiple times up there, so much of that vegetation has already withered away. those clouds are also withering away down towards the south, so nothing to keep the heat in. The clouds here act as a blanket to keep the heat in for down towards the surface. No clouds, that heat goes right on up through the atmosphere and dissipates away, so temperatures will fall out below freezing for just about everyone north of I-10 tonight. New Orleans, even on the lake there, 30 degrees, 28 here in Tallahassee, 20 the cool spot in Tupelo. If you're heading up to the Carolinas, 25 in Wilmington, 30 in Savannah, and 56 down in Miami. 62 is the winter weather hotspot for tonight, 70 degrees there tomorrow afternoon, 51 in Montgomery, 46 in Atlanta, and sunshine abound. No reason for any ruffling of feathers there. 55 here in Tallahassee, 60 degrees around the I-4 corridor, 53 in New Orleans. Just a few passing clouds down in Central and South Florida, but nothing really to worry about. Now, what would you do if you ever saw snow in Atlanta?
You know what, John? Honestly, I'd be surprised if we saw some snow in Atlanta, but I would definitely go out and do some snowboarding. You know, airport delays right now in the southeast, not looking at much like John mentioned. We're going to zoom in a little bit about what happened yesterday. Yesterday's rainfall, 3.3 inches in Tallahassee. That's actually a little bit of an underestimate. We're looking at maybe 3.55 inches in Tallahassee yesterday, breaking a record for yesterday for the amount of rainfall in one day. Definitely a lot of rain just all over our area. 2.5 inches out in Valdosta, pretty close to 2.5 inches out in Quincy as well, 3 inches down in Apalachicola. And as I step out of the way, you could definitely see how much that cold front has affected our temperatures. A lot of times when we show you this graphic, you'll kind of see a roller coaster type thing, getting really cold in the morning and shooting straight up in the evening. But today, instead, we're seeing that high 72 degrees, but it's going to make its way down, and it's not going to get back up. 49 at 5 o'clock, 45 still at 1 in the afternoon. Again, our high came at midnight last night, 55 degrees, and it has not gotten past that at any point over the full day. 75 was not your high today. It was actually 55 set at midnight, 44 your low. About average for the low, but obviously nowhere near that high. 46 degrees, warmed up a little bit over the duration of the show. A dew point sitting at 29, 51% humidity, showing it is very dry out there, and those winds are still coming out of the northwest. 46 in Tallahassee, 43 in Monticello, now cooler in Quincy, 41, and still 45 in St. Mark's and Caribou, 46 out in Apalachicola. Wind still coming out of the northwest, picking up a little in Tallahassee, 10 miles an hour, but calming down in other places, looking at a calm wind out in Valdosta and Quincy now. Warnings, again, make sure you are aware of those freeze warnings tonight. Leon County, basically our whole viewing area, under a freeze warning. Temperatures of 32 degrees or less. Be cautious. Make sure you're wearing a jacket when you go out tomorrow morning, because it's going to be an interesting morning. Tonight's forecast around the area, 28 in Tallahassee as well as Monticello. Cooler along the coast, 32 degrees. Still going to be freezing. That north wind coming at 5 miles an hour. 27, a little cooler up in Thomasville. 26 in Bainbridge as you get into Georgia, and as you make your way north, it's going to continue to be cooler. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow, looking at 55 degrees in Tallahassee, 55 as well in Monticello, 52 in Thomasville and Valdosta, a little cooler, and again 56 in St. Mark's, a little warmer along the coast. And 7-day forecast, Tommy the Turkey wants to see the 7-day forecast as I step out of the way. Looking at that turkey, 55 degrees tomorrow for your Thanksgiving day, going up to the upper 60s as we get later into the week. And definitely warming up as we get into the weekend and into the end of next week. Now, John, I don't know about you, and it's not necessarily Christmas yet, but I love myself some hot chocolate, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it's so good. Like, who thought of this? Let's make chocolate and turn it into a drink.
Yeah. Now, tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a little bit cool, so you're going to want that hot chocolate tomorrow. But you're also going to want a lot of that food tomorrow afternoon.
Absolutely. Thanksgiving tomorrow. It's going to be a great day for some great food. Get your turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes. A lot of you have your different family traditions, and we respect that as well. Make sure you have some of those too, you know?
And happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate that as well.
Absolutely. Hanukkah does start at sundown tonight, which means tomorrow is basically the first day that it's celebrated on the Jewish calendar. And you're going to see that for 8 days, celebrating kind of the miracle of light. Yeah, back in historical times.
It's kind of interesting. Thanksgiving's later than normal, and Hanukkah's earlier than normal. So for the first time since we were growing up, it's actually going to be called Thanksgivaka for most of us.
Absolutely. Definitely a good word there, Jonathan. And if I remember correctly, the statistics, we won't see Thanksgiving and Hanukkah at the same time for another 17,000 years.
Yeah, incredible. Once in a lifetime opportunity for us here. And we will be here tomorrow afternoon for your freezing forecast
Absolutely.
as well. So
we definitely don't want our fans to go uninformed. We are here every day as your 7-day forecast. Right next to us, you're going to be looking at 55 degrees, 63 tomorrow. I'm going to take another sip of my hot chocolate because this stuff is just great. But, you know, looking at Monday, a 40% chance of rain, so those rain chances do continue. Upper 60s, maybe getting into lower 70s at the beginning of next week. We'll see what happens, but those lows are definitely starting to get warmer. So make sure you're wearing your jacket over the next couple of days. You're definitely going to want that.
Now, are you going Black Friday shopping?
I don't think so. You know, I got to stay. I got to work, actually. Make sure you like us on Facebook.com/FSU Weather. Follow us on Twitter.com/FSU Weather. And you can watch it anytime on Livestream.com/FSU Weather. Thank you for joining us for your 15-minute holiday FSU weather update. I'm student meteorologist Braden Robinson.
And I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving and a happy Hanukkah to everyone out there. We will be here tomorrow night, and we will be here Friday for special 15-minute shows at 6 o'clock, and we'll have a great night then.
Have a great evening.